This week on which streaming service is upping the ante, we're going to talk about Disney. Go figure. It is Tuesday night. You know what that means. 2 pieces of Popeye's fried chicken for like $1.50. That's what that means tonight. It also means that's the tagline, the show where the tagline is the title. What's going on, y'all? We are the Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams.
And my name is, you forgot to unmute me, Chris Adams here.
You have the power to unmute yourself.
Yeah, but I don't ever have to do that because you always do it. So get off me. Anyway. Oh man, we've got just not a whole lot to talk about tonight, really. It's just small amount of news. Nothing big happened, say in the last week or so. So,
Yeah. I will say at the top of the show, let's start the timer right now. We're going to get through all this Disney news plus other stuff. About an hour and a half. I think it's safe to say that about an hour and a half. We're just going to cruise on by through this.
I mean, physically, that's what I need to aim for, but we'll see.
Yeah. That being said, if y'all have any questions, comments, I am putting it in the chat right now. There is the streamlabs.com/cinefanatics. If y'all would like to, ooh, look, cool. I can do this. I can pin it. If y'all have any questions, comments, anything y'all want to say or do, hit that link. Let us know. Yeah, it's also up there above his head.
Yeah, priority goes to that, and then everything else afterwards. So,
yeah. Up here above my head, there is patreon.com/cinefanatics. I don't think, since last week, we got the Discord up and running. I don't think we had the Discord officially running. So those of y'all who are on our Patreon already, thank you. And you do have access to our Discord. I know a couple of y'all in the chat here have already popped in there, said, what's up, what's going on. Check that out. There's little tidbits and secrets of stuff that we're working on that are not publicly known yet in our Discord. So go check that out because it's going to be a lot of fun stuff we have planned.
Yeah.
Trying to think, what else do we need to cover at the top of this show real quick?
How was your week this last week?
Crazy. It wasn't bad until Thursday night. Then all of a sudden it started hitting this, oh my gosh, there's like something happening every single day, every single night, and we must talk about it like constantly. Right. So for those of y'all who may not have followed or saw, I did go over to on Thursday night after all this news was released. I did jump on the Pajukin over at the PJ Campbell Network for their Sunday evening unwind. Thursday.
Pajukin.
Yeah. So I wonder if they do that. They need to get like a graphic of. They do that.
I've heard them do that once.
Yeah. So I went over there and talked to a whole bunch of people about this. So this is my second time going through this Disney information stuff, and it's still fun to talk about, folks. I'm eager for this. I
have not talked about it anywhere yet, though. So this is why we're partly doing the show about it tonight. Also because it's the big movie news for the last week. Come on.
There's a couple. We have a couple like other little bits of movie news of stuff that's popped up since Thursday, but I think for the most part, most movie news and studios and stuff, they were smart enough to be like, yeah, you know what, we're just gonna like not release any news or anything for like the next week. Like let's just let Disney have their day. So we do have other news that we're going to be talking about. I like that we can see Robert's computer screen reflected behind him. Enhance. Oh, look at his open tabs. Yeah. I mean, you technically can. So you can see my computer. You can see my hand in front of my computer. You can see my light over here. Wherever. I don't care.
This is fascinating content that I'm sure
people... It absolutely is. Anyways, what else is going on?
Oh man, big exciting week. Obviously, there's a bunch of news. I got to see a doctor finally for my stuff,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm on some meds that hopefully help me out here in a little bit. Not so much today, which is why we are back in StreamYard yet again instead of in our normal setup because this chair is just so much better for me than my old one, which I moved out there for our setup. So this is where we'll probably remain until I feel comfortable enough to be able to sit back out there again. So we'll see. We'll see otherwise. But I mean, here's the great news. The great news about being in here is that we can click on things like people's comments and stuff. So that's what I like about this setup.
Yeah. So going through, looking into the chat real quick. We've got. This isn't like, there it goes. It's like my mouse is not wanting to keep up with the conversation tonight. We got Garth McMurray is in the chat. Too much news.
Too much news.
Christopher Steichleather, welcome, sir. Anyone else in the chat hanging out? Let us know.
Sound off.
Sound off in the chat. What are your thoughts on Snyder's rated R cut? That is one of the movie news pieces that we're going to talk about outside of Disney stuff tonight.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to see this, but I know this was released like about an hour ago, roughly.
At the same time, there are premieres of Wonder Woman 84 happening as we speak. The folks over at the Pajukan, PJ himself, is actually in a showing with Late to the Party tonight. So they are actually all seeing Wonder Woman 84.
As we're sitting here talking about it, wishing we could see it right now as well.
Which we'll see it soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, only because we're going to end up watching it the same day we're watching Soul, and that's like two movies we got to like knock out in one day and then do reviews about. Like, woo, busy.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's next week.
Yeah. And then there was also this past weekend, there was the massive Schmodown Spectacular 5, which was fantastic. If y'all haven't watched that yet, jump on their Patreon. I think you can still get the pay-per-view ticket for that, but watch that. It's like 8.5 hours long, and it's all fantastic content.
And there's so much good stuff in there for what's going to happen next season, and and who knows? There's a lot of really good stuff in terms of like different storylines and whatnot for different individuals, and then just kind of seeing where some of these title matches went to. Oh, it was all so good. All the matches were fantastic. So
we did record a reaction to it. Our reaction, though, actually also includes like the clips of the actual Schmodown. So we're not going to be releasing it like anytime soon, just because we want to respect like Christian's wishes and not have the actual footage out there for people to see yet.
Yeah. When we see the okay from him, then we'll release it. That may or may not be until all the matches go up on YouTube, though. So we'll see.
Yeah. But there was some good stuff during that. So, and then of course, Sunday night we joined a Certain Point of View, and we talked about Spectacular with them for like 3 hours or so. That was a blast because we got to take over their show for a minute. If y'all aren't aware of that one, go check out their Twitter and their YouTube channel. They actually clipped out this one hilarious bit. I absolutely loved it. So it was great hanging out with those guys Sunday night. Andres Gallego in the chat. Spoiler, I wish I could see on Wonder Woman 1984 today too. Haha. Yeah. You need to stop spoiling things in the chat, bro.
How dare you?
But at least you sent in a super chat with it, so thank you, sir.
How dare you spoil your desires to see Wonder Woman?
I did see that. So he posted on Twitter the like all of these like wisdom teeth jokes like right before he's getting his pulled out yesterday. How are you doing from that, by the way? I hear getting those teeth pulled is not fun.
No.
Let me see. Anyways, it's not like completely dead. I mean, this is
on life
support
time. Life support air.
Clear. Anyways, did you watch any new movies this week?
I don't think
I don't think you did. Yeah. I think we've been like really busy, but
Yeah.
what about the week before? Because we had to rush through that week, and we really didn't have like much time to.
I didn't watch anything new then. I think the only movie I saw recently was I rewatched The Family Man with Nicolas Cage, but good, nice little holiday movie. Outside of that though, not much else.
Let's see. I know from the week before that I didn't get to talk about. I did watch Freaky. That movie with Vince Vaughn and Cassie Lang.
Freaky.
You didn't catch that. I called her Cassie Lang. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Thanks for pausing the show to make sure I got that joke. Good.
Just want to make sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. That's just and then of course I was harping about real quick last week the praises of Singing in the Rain. Highly recommend that. This past week I actually I caught up like with my brother and watched Man from U.N.C.L.E. or Man from U.N.C.L.E. is apparently what it's actually called because it's got periods in there. It was okay, I guess. Like there were some funny bits to it, but this is a starting trend that like any movie my brother absolutely loves, I'm like, okay.
That's because one of us has good taste in movies,
and the other one of us is
at least like Shawshank Redemption, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, but you like La La Land, so
that's what I said. Good taste in movies.
If you say so. Last night I watched City Slickers for the first time. That was good.
What's up, City Slicker?
Like I thought City Slickers was just a stupid comedy. It actually has like a lot of heart to it, and I loved it. So now I would actually have to honestly say that I have a tie for my favorite Western movies of all time: City Slickers and Back to the Future Part 3. So I don't know. One of those is my favorite Western.
Best choices for Western movies out there, I'm sure.
Anyways, yeah, catching up on movies. That's yeah. I still need to move on to that City Slickers too. Was it like Curly's Gold, The Legend of Curly's Gold?
Yeah.
All right, Malcolm.
And Garth is correct. I also want a sequel to Man from U.N.C.L.E. And yes, Malcolm is correct because La La Land is great. Shut your face.
Why do we attract the weirdos? I don't know what it is.
Because you're here.
Okay.
This is the Be Mean to My Brother night. So basically like every night.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Love it. Apparently I only have 3 wisdom teeth, and I still have them. They're not a problem or anything, so I don't know why this has been like all like wisdom teeth talk like this whole past week. Why the Schmodown started it, but okay.
Welcome to the tagline where wisdom teeth is what we talk about.
Yeah. Speaking of the Schmodown real quick, I'm going I am the type of person that like teasing things. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. There is something in the works that we have planned for the Schmodown. Of course, those of y'all that are familiar continue with the hashtag Draft Cinefanatics as their free agency is started. I'm not expecting to be picked up as like the first 3 of like every faction. No.
we got signed over somebody like Ben Bateman or Dan Merle. That'd be hilarious.
Oh, that would be great, and that would make my day. But those of y'all, again, continue with the hashtag Draft Cinefanatics. Something else I would kind of like to put out there, and I want to see, I'm not sure how this can be gotten to us. I guess if y'all are able to, I actually want to see one more step further. Just film yourself like on your phone real quick. Hey, Draft Cinefanatics, post it on Twitter or something, tag us in it. But I want to see, I want videos of people saying it as well. There's a project that I'm currently working on, and that's all I'm going to say about it. But those videos might be a little helpful for that. So anyway, putting that out there. More to come on that as time goes on. But anyways, anything else going on?
Nope. Let's do some movie news. We got a lot of it.
I'm trying to do like a filler thing here. Anyone in the chat? Anyone else got something to say before we move on? Oh, Andres just put something in the. There it is. Both. I want yours to be like the what was it? The Animaniacs or Tiny Toons good idea, bad idea? Good idea. Representing the Cinefanatics in the draft. Bad idea. Repping the Cinefanatics while hallucinating and that they're sitting right in front of you.
And they look like pink elephants in dresses.
Pink elephants on parade. Yeah. That would be hilarious. Nothing else, huh?
That's why I said move on to movie news. Come on.
Cool. Movie news. Moving on. Let's get some pictures up. Chris Pine is in a movie that's going to be a complete and utter failure. That's right. He's going to be in another Dungeons and Dragons movie. I say that with all the love in the world. I love it when like someone tries to keep making movies that have just completely failed before. But here's hoping.
It sounds like you were more speaking of like Chris Pine's career is just full of failures. Chris Pine in another movie that's going to be a failure.
So here's the thing. Sarcasm aside, like I would be interested in seeing what could possibly be done with this. Because the previous like Dungeons and Dragons movies, you could kind of tell like right out the gate, they're like, we don't have high hopes for this because we're not casting like the highest quality of talent for them. In fact, I've forgotten who was in some of them.
Yeah, and when did they come out?
I remember there was one like back in the 90s, I believe. Here's the other thing I'll be truthful about. I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons fan. Never played it. 2000. It came out in 2000 and starred Justin Whalen and Marlon Wayans, Thora Birch, and Jeremy Irons. So apparently Justin Whalen was the top billing for that. Those of y'all who don't know, Justin Whalen was one of two Jimmy Olsen's in Lois and Clark: The Adventures of Superman. He was also Andy Barclay in Child's Play 3. So, yeah. Didn't we all say that we needed to say what the 2000? Yeah, pretty much. But I don't know. Like, I think when you get someone like Chris Pine on, you're lending like a little more credibility to that movie. We're not scraping the bottom of the barrel here of like talent.
Yeah, you're getting a known quantity in there, which means because he's a known quantity, that I trust that he's looking a little bit more closely as to which scripts he decides to pick up and follow through on. Especially because Chris Pine is somebody, at least at this point, who can kind of pick and choose which films he wants to be a part of now. And so, maybe he looked at this and went, you know what? This actually sounds like it could be good. I'm willing to do it. I have faith in it because I think we've hit a level of technology and everything where the idea of Dungeons and Dragons could come across pretty well on screen. So I'm not really so quick to wanting to say that it's going to be a bomb at all. I would say that it might actually be fairly successful. I mean, you look at movies like, say, Alita, which some people might think should be a bomb, and to whatever degree, I don't know if that's really was considered a box office flop or not, but it was fantastically done, and I'm looking forward to a sequel to that. And so you look at Lord of the Rings and how they did. You look at all these things that could kind of represent that same kind of culture and how they translate to screen. Yeah, I'm interested. Let's see how it plays out. I too never played Dungeons and Dragons, so.
And I think some of that comes with, again, those of y'all who are familiar with us, neither me nor my brother are really big on like fantasy stuff. Like, we're not the biggest Lord of the Rings fans. Watched them multiple times. My brother actually has sat through all 6 movies, Middle Earth movies. So I haven't even touched the Hobbits yet. Wow, that phrasing. So I don't see Dungeons and Dragons being something in my wheelhouse, but if it looks like it could be good enough, I might check it out. But then again, I also run a movie YouTube channel where this is going to be a popular movie. We probably are going to have to see it anyway. So
yeah, Garth is talking about it in the chat. Like role playing, Dungeons and Dragons is huge. Role playing in general has like skyrocketed, even more so lately. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more movies based off of like different kinds of role playing games and what have you. Just because there's a huge fan base for it too to connect with. So
yeah. The director was a huge D&D fan, but had no experience directing. Yeah, I just looked that up too. Like that director's only done like 3 movies, and Dungeons and Dragons was his first. So,
oh wow,
yeah, yeah. We'll see how that turns out. That's going to be definitely one of those. I'm going to have to wait for footage, and hopefully it looks good.
Yeah,
for me to want to jump in that. Something else for today. Actually, I don't think this came out. I think this actually came out a couple of days ago, but they released the first poster for Mortal Kombat. And this poster looks fantastic. This looks so good. And then I think they announced it. They said it was going to be April.
Yeah, I heard it got like delayed a little bit.
So they announced that they were going to release it in April, along with the release at the same time on HBO Max. Mm-hmm. So that's another one of those. Yeah, April 16th, 2021. So that's one of those that's also the day and date with HBO Max, kind of piggybacking off of the news from last week. And I believe I read somewhere they said we're not going to get the trailer until after the first of the new year. Oh. I'm kind of eager for a trailer to this because everything I've heard, I've seen so far really has my hopes up that this is going to be a good movie. I think we're definitely in a renaissance of good video game movies now. So
maybe. Renaissance is not necessarily the word I would choose. Maybe a trajectory towards a renaissance, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I know that Monster Hunter, I believe, is coming out this week or just came out. So, I mean, video game movies are kind of still flopping around, and they haven't quite hit that Iron Man level yet in terms of like relating video game movies to the trajectory of comic book movies and what have you. So I'm not going to say I have like high hopes or low hopes for this because I'm probably not going to see it either way, just because Mortal Kombat's not a property that I'm really interested in seeing, especially since they're full on going with the R rating on it and doing like all the guts and gore. And I am somebody who cannot like tolerate guts and gore, so it's probably not going to be my cup of tea. But we'll see.
So I will definitely be watching it and giving my opinion on it because I want to see that. That's going to be great. That's what I couldn't remember if I had heard whether or not it was going to be like full on R rated.
Yeah. That's. Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I heard too, is that they were just fully committed to that R rating, trying to not reimagine, but show you exactly what the video games were all about in movie form. So.
Well, yeah, sure. If you want to come here to Austin, Texas, let's go see the movie and then we'll do a review for it.
Yeah, he'll be able to watch it on HBO Max.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. I forgot. You can just stay there. Stay 6 feet apart. And maybe a couple of states. Yeah, I might reach out to you for that, Andres. Let's see. Moving on. Before we start like really diving into Marvel stuff, let's talk about some DC stuff real quick. Justice League potentially could go to a movie theater as well as streaming on HBO Max, and it might be rated R because apparently Batman's got a potty mouth.
Fornicating Batman.
That's our parental, like our family friendly one. Fornicating means building an arch.
Oh yeah, he's not just regular Batman; he's the fornicating Batman.
Oh yeah,
this Batman fornicates.
So he fornicates all over Gotham.
Look, that's about how that's the joke equivalent to how much energy I have right now. So there you go. Here's what I think about that.
I mean, I get it. I get that, like, we're kind of going like darker and grittier with our superheroes lately. DC has been really good at pushing this like an R-rated envelope lately. Like most of their cartoons, their like direct to video cartoons, have all been a lot more adult. They've been using harsher language. There's even been nudity in some of them lately. So they're really pushing that boundary to capture the adult audience with them. Then, of course, I think we got the next Suicide Squad movie supposed to be R-rated as well. We've had the Birds of Prey that was R-rated. So DC's just diving straight into this.
They're getting so edgy. Edgy.
So far, Marvel, we've got Deadpool.
Which, and that's not even real. This hasn't really even been part of the MCU at this point, which that could be changing soonish, sort of. But but for the most part, MCU tops out at the PG-13 because they want to be open to the widest audience possible, and I get that. But I don't know if I really care about. Well, first of all, I guarantee you I'm not going to go see this Justice League in the theater. I'm not going to go sit in the theater for a 4-hour just because Batman could drop an F-bomb. I will take the 4-part mini-series, however long it's supposed to be, on HBO Max, and I'll watch that instead. And I'll be happy. I'll be happy with that.
Because I'm going to lay my happy butt right here and watch it.
There's nothing that sells me on a movie. I mean, there's nothing about Batman dropping language or cussing or whatever that's like, yep, let me go run to the movie theater specifically just to see that. Like, I don't. Okay. Sure.
I mean, if you need to hear Ben Affleck say the F word, just watch Good Will Hunting. He does it with a Boston accent, and it's fantastic.
Or, Argo.
Or Argo yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take that line and like put it through like a sound editor to give it like the gruff sound, and Argo yourself.
Yeah. So what I'm wondering though is what is the benefit for WB to do that? Will they actually put it in the theater for that? And what is the benefit they gain from that? Because I don't know if they really gain too much money off of that.
I think it's actually the other way around as far as how it goes. They're not putting it in the theater because Batman is saying a bad word. I think they're looking at putting it in the theater, and because it's going to a theater is where it has to be. It has to be looked over by the MPAA for that official rating. That they are coming back and they're saying, hey, we're going to give it an R rating because Batman's going to say this bad word, is apparently what it sounds like. As long as it stays on HBO Max and it wasn't going to a theater, then it's subject to the rating of like television. So it probably would have been slapped with the TVMA. Or, I mean, I don't know, maybe a TV 14. I hear there's violence in it too, that like Steppenwolf is just like straight up ripping fools apart. So, I believe it would be a TVMA. But
I think ultimately the funniest thing to me is going to be when we all see the Snyder Cut and it turns out to be just as good, if not a little bit worse than the Justice League we originally got. And now we're all like, well, okay, moving on with our lives then. So yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Obviously, I'm not sure if Blade is going to be R-rated.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think it'll probably be PG-13 also, since they're still sticking with the way the MCU has been. I wouldn't even be surprised if. Well, I guess they did say a Deadpool 3 is going to be R-rated, didn't they?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if Deadpool 3 came out and it was PG-13 also, but
I wonder if they could go the way of like Marvel Comics, where Marvel did the it's gonna be kind of funny sounding, the Max series imprint, where it was like the adult, because like during the 90s, Marvel Comics really wasn't meant for adults either. It was still a family friendly. And then they did the Max imprint, which was like Punisher and Daredevil, Elektra, Ghost Rider. Like it was like the ones that could be made for adults. They made it for adults, and they all said really naughty words. But that's why I'm wondering if they could end up doing that with the movies now, especially because they could pass it off as under like maybe the Fox Studios banner instead. And therefore, that's their reason. That they're still releasing this movie as Disney, but it doesn't have any Disney logos or anything tied to it. So you're still preserving and honoring the Disney brand with it.
Yeah.
So that we might talk about here again some more in a little bit as we get towards the Disney news.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know if I want to sit in a theater for 4 hours.
No.
Yeah. Howard the Duck. Was Howard the Duck PG-13? I could have sworn it might have. I thought it was rated R because of like innuendos and stuff, and they showed duck boobs. Woo! Anyways,
what's the next movie news topic? Good Lord.
The other one, I just thought of that on the spot. I was like, that's gonna be funny. The sound. It was. They announced the Into the Spider-Verse 2 is going to be released in 2022. Yes,
Perfect.
please. Yes, this is going to be good. Especially because what I'm wondering is we're honing in on the MCU Spider-Man 3 being a Spider-Verse movie itself. So I'm wondering if are we going to start hitting like some kind of a potential where these two movies actually could be combined?
Yeah, where they coincide, in which case, yeah, I brought up that idea before that the animated Spider-Verses could have some relation or connectivity to the live-action Spider-Man movies and what have you, through like alternate dimensions and stuff. And that would just be really strange, but very unique, because I don't think you've ever seen that in movies before, where an existing animated franchise is actually connected to and could interact with an existing live action franchise and have those two things combined. I know you've gotten your movies before where you have like animated characters are interacting with live action characters, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Space Jam and all that. But
World, yeah.
Yeah, what do you get if, say, you have like animated Miles Morales is interacting, or animated Miles Morales and Spider-Ham are interacting with Tom Holland Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man? Like that would just blow like everybody's mind.
I like the idea also potentially that like the Spider-Verse cartoon, like not only so going into the Spider-Verse, you had like the animated Miles Morales, Noir, Spider-Ham, Spider-Gwen. All of them were like all of them were from different dimensions, but all of those dimensions were also all happened to be animated. So now I've got the idea is what happens when Miles Morales comes into, say, the MCU. But when he comes into the MCU, he's no longer animated. He's a live action because he's fitting the current universe's way of life. Yeah, the aesthetic, exactly. So therefore, he becomes live action in the real world MCU, and then he has his own spin-off movie of like the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Could they potentially do something like that?
That'd be really interesting. Either way, one thing I'm looking to for this next Spider-Verse movie is, will they include, or could they include, and they probably should include, since it was the final cut scene or whatever, the Spider-Man 2099. Whoop, nice shot. Good shot there.
Yep.
I mean, you don't cast Oscar Isaac in the voice role for that without turning around and actually utilizing it within your next movie. Like that was completely a setup for a sequel.
I love
this
toy.
So why would they not? Yeah, why would they not use Spider-Man 2099? That would be awesome. Like that's the one thing I'm looking forward to most about this sequel here.
And I was a huge fan of Miguel O'Hara, the 2099 Spider-Man. That's why I got the hot toy figure of it. I'm a huge fan of it. Grew up with it. Love the comics. And I really like the 2099 overall. Between Spider-Man and X-Men, the 2099 series was fantastic. I really would like to see a good like Spider-Man 2099 movie. And I'm kind of hoping that it could spin off from this. So
that's something that I'd be interested in seeing is could they link also Spider-Man 2099 into the live action SpiderVerse kind of thing that they seem to be doing. So
because Oscar Isaac would be perfect at Miguel O'Hara as well.
Yeah.
I could see him playing that role.
Maybe. Is he going to play that role and Moon Knight? Who knows?
Oh, that's right. That's going to be kind of weird. Yeah. It's just one of his personalities. One of Moon Knight's personalities is Spider-Man 2099.
And I need this.
That fits though. So that's a good example of what I was saying, that like the animated aesthetic crosses over into live action. All of a sudden that character is no longer animated, it's live action. You could get Nicolas Cage to play Spider-Man Noir in the real world, and that would look fantastic.
Yeah. I just, what more do you need to say there? I mean, I need Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir in live action. Like, that'd be fantastic. Anyway, yeah, of course, looking forward to this movie. The first one was great. It's one of the best Spider-Man movies that's ever been made. So yeah, who knew that? I mean, that's one thing to touch on. Like, who knew that the original Spider-Verse was going to be good? When we first heard that they're making an animated Spider-Man movie at the same time of rebooting the Spider-Man in the MCU, it's like, well, too much Spider-Man. What are y'all doing? This doesn't make any sense. But like, man, was it not? It was a great movie, and I can't wait for a sequel now.
Yeah. Anyways, so we're 38 minutes in, and let's talk about some Disney stuff before we dive into Disney stuff, though. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for still being here. Again, we covered a lot of other movie news before this, so if you're not just now watching, or if you're watching this on the replay and you just happen to be right here, I guess it doesn't make sense. Yeah, more movie news and stuff at the beginning. Make sure you get those questions in streamlabs.com/cinefanatics, and please make sure you are giving this video a like. I don't know, I have a feeling typically we're really good on having a nice like people watching live to like ratio, so we never really have to call it out. So
we actually typically have people coming in, clicking like, and then leaving. So hey, it helps.
I mean, if you can't be here and you're going to watch this later, thank you for the like. Please come back, watch it, let us know what you think. But yeah, again, streamlabs.com, super chat, however you want to get those questions, comments. Make sure you do it that way, because just because he's feeling better, he still needs physical therapy, and that's going to cost some money. So yeah, that would help us not only keep the lights on, but also keep him upright.
And also keep my lights on.
Time code in the comments. This is where the Disney stuff starts. I might actually do that with this one. So anyways, moving on to Disney news. Oh, and I'm going to put, y'all are going to see it here in the chat. This is kind of the website that we're following with this. This D23, because this website's pretty good at covering like everything that was announced on the whatchamacallit, the Investor Day. I just said that and I felt like Investor Day. Love was such an easy. Never mind. Coming back to us. It sounded like yesterday, okay? That's a great song. So that's the website I'm going to be following. If y'all want to follow along with that, if y'all see something that maybe we're not talking about or something that you want to like pinpoint in the chat, feel free to follow along with that because that's where we're going with it. Let me pull this over here off to the side actually. And sorry, moving my windows around.
So Disney announced a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about all that stuff as soon as he's ready over there.
So the first thing, if you want to touch upon it real quick, I don't know how much I really have to add to the conversation of Star. But the Star thing.
Yeah. So Star, from what I hear, Star is actually the name that Hulu kind of flies under overseas for whatever reason, all the legal stuff and what have you. It's above my pay grade, so I don't really ever actually pay attention to that. Disney is having Star Plus connected to the Disney Plus now, in which case you'll be able to get all those wonderful Fox properties like the Alien and the like, those kinds of movies. You get your Deadpool, 1 and 2, your Logan. You're going to get those mature properties over there too that would have otherwise been under the Disney banner because of Marvel. You get all that stuff now through the Star Plus. The thing is that's only overseas. That is not here domestically within the United States. And so we're
moving on.
we still get Hulu as our secondary source for all this stuff. So we're still a two app country right now between Disney Plus and Hulu. Who knows if that changes in the future? But for now, Star Plus, that's overseas. That's not for us. Moving on.
So I'm not sure. Again, I don't know exactly how that's going to affect stuff overseas. I don't know if I know Malcolm was in the chat. I don't know if he's still there. Malcolm's in New Zealand. For those of y'all who don't know, if he's got any information about that, if this is something that's relevant for him there, would like to hear that. Oh, actually, it actually says on here, including Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. So yeah, it's apparently something that that Malcolm's going to have access to. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
If you don't stop seeing, Garth will stop liking the video. And you know what? I will not blame him.
Okay, so you can catch me on our new channel, Music Fanatics, where I'm going to talk about probably just Pink Floyd and Linkin Park.
How's the channel get negative subscribers? I don't understand.
We owe you a like. That's what. That's how we got into that.
We all subscribe to your channel. Anyway. So that's Star. Moving on.
Disney Television Studios. So we got
the Disney specific shows, the Disney properties and stuff that are coming to the Disney Plus as like TV shows and whatnot. Mm-hmm. There's not a whole lot here that I'm actually really interested in, to be honest. Maybe that Mighty Ducks show, but I can see like with all. Here's the thing that we're going to end up covering with all the Marvel stuff and all the Star Wars stuff, everything coming to us here soon. You're going to have to start prioritizing and picking and choosing what you actually care about and don't. I would probably have otherwise been interested in the Mighty Ducks show, but I'm probably going to leave it alone in terms of everything else has more of an interest to me than that.
I feel like some of these, like the Mighty Ducks, is probably one of those. Unless it ends up pulling a Mandalorian, and just the second it comes out, everyone's like, "Holy crap! You need to be watching this." Like, if I go to work and all the coworkers are talking about Mighty Ducks, not very likely, but if they were all talking about Mighty Ducks, then I might have to start watching it. But
which it's possible because this show looks like it could have like a Cobra Kai vibe, and a lot of people talk about Cobra Kai. So
actually, I think that's probably the number one reason why this show was created is someone saw Cobra Kai like, hey, let's do that with the Mighty Ducks. Oh, that's a good idea. That's exactly where that came from.
And Emilio Estevez isn't doing anything else, so might as well get him back anyway.
Yeah. So like it's a show I might watch, but that's one I'm probably not going to watch as it comes out, because they're probably going to continue to follow the same staple of releasing one episode per week. Which, by the way, I am going bonkers waiting for Mandalorian this week. This is insane. I wish they would have. Well, quick side note, I'm kind of glad that Mandalorian still stuck to the one episode per week. That way we could all, as an entire planet, could all react to certain episodes and moments all at once. Like, you hop on Twitter, the episode of Ahsoka with Grogu, when they revealed Grogu's name, like, you hop on Twitter and everybody, like, that's all Twitter is like, oh my God, Ahsoka's so awesome. His name is Grogu. Like, that's what everything was. And you felt unified in that. So I like that idea. But I'm probably going to watch this Mighty Ducks as like a binge one day type of thing. I'll just crank out all the episodes.
There's a couple other things under here. I know Percy Jackson and the Olympians is going to catch the eye of a lot of people. Stuck Leather here in the comments says he personally can't wait for it. So there's that. They're bringing back Swiss Family Robinson. They're bringing back Turner and Hooch. These are kind of interesting. This Beauty and the Beast I care very little about, because I really don't care about following a prequel series of Gaston. So,
although out of everything in that movie, that is probably one that sounds interesting. I actually kind of would like to follow maybe a prequel of what happened with like the Beast and all the other people and living objects in the castle.
Yeah.
Right after they first got turned. Like when Lumiere is trying to get used to the fact he's a candlestick. Like I would like to see that. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. And then you also got this Big Shot, which that looks kind of interesting, because we know we're going to talk about when you see that's I know you talked about on the PJ Campbell network, where that might be like one of those things that gets people like looking back towards like the WNBA, and because what is it, in years past, people kind of
a lot of people on the WNBA.
Yeah, a lot of people would dog on the WNBA for some reason. It's not as to be taken seriously like the regular NBA and whatnot. It's a bad time to read his comment and laugh on.
It was. Dang it, Garth.
Anyway, so this show could be really interesting, because it could actually start. I don't want to use the term legitimizing, because the WNBA is very legitimate already, but legitimizing it for some people.
It was a punching bag in the sports world. Yes, we know a little bit about sports, but yeah, it was usually referred to as a punching bag. Now, I never did that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I heard it constantly. It was done socially in TV shows and movies. It was known as that. I think this is a step in the right direction for them, and I'm kind of here for that. I like that idea.
Yep. And then this Mysterious Benedict Society, I got nothing to say on that. It just looks kind of interesting.
The only thing I really like on that is Tony Hale playing the dual role. I think that's fantastic. And I think hopefully if this show does well, this is going to be a big thing for Tony Hale to really just like get him out there, because he's fantastic. But
and then you kind of move on to the National Geographic stuff. There's not a whole lot to talk about here, just because like documentaries are typically not my forte. Some of them are usually pretty good, but that Cousteau one looks kind of interesting, though, talking about Jacques Cousteau and his first like deep sea dive and kind of just exploring underwater for the first time. Like, underwater stuff is kind of fascinating, actually. And so
they're doing a documentary about a guy that does documentaries.
Yeah, essentially. It's a documentary within a documentary. It's like four levels of documentary. It's like
16 documentaries right there.
16 documentaries. So there's a lot of stuff that's interesting in here. You got that Limitless with Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, looks kind of interesting, but I don't know. I like
real quick going to this, they should have cast Colin Hanks in the Turner Hoot show. I mean, yeah, that's good.
The definition of on the nose.
Yeah. Nat Geo.
Yeah. The one thing that I like here is they announced that Will Smith is going to be doing a show on National Geographic called Welcome to Earth. Speaking of on the nose.
Yeah. So it still says that that's a working title, and I've actually seen this since it was announced that there's a little bit of an uproar in that they want to call this show starring Will Smith based off of arguably one of his worst lines from Independence Day. Now, I say arguably because here's the thing, it might be a bad line, but it's an iconic line. You tell someone, you ask anyone off the street, you go walk down the streets of New York when there's no longer a pandemic, and you point at someone like, you say a quote from Independence Day, and they'll give you a couple of them, but I guarantee probably about at least 8 out of 10 people are going to say welcome to Earth, or they're going to quote President Whitmore's entire speech, in which good on them because that speech is fantastic. But yeah, they're probably going to say welcome to Earth. Disney went with that. That's why they released it as a working title. We are all familiar with that.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that.
I'm more interested, though, in if you actually do take that up, if you actually go walk the streets and ask people, and if they say welcome to Earth, then you need to kindly correct them and say that he didn't actually say Earth. He said Earth.
Earth.
He actually pronounced it correctly. Stop with that nonsense. Skip past that.
What's content for Hulu and Star? The only thing no. The only thing I'll call out on that that I think is interesting is that they're confirming a show of Why the Last Man, which was based off was it Brian K. Vaughan, I believe. One of usually most everyone involved with comics will say it's one of the greatest comic graphic novel stories ever, and it's been in development held for a TV show or movie or something. I believe mostly a TV show. It's nice to see that it's finally coming out. So kind of like that. Moving into, I'm going to skip some of this. Moving into FX. A couple of things I want to point out here. Neither me nor my brother are fans of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I tried watching it.
Same.
And I was like, I can't connect with it. I get why people do though. It had some funny moments in it, and I completely get that humor. I can't connect with it at all. But whether I connect with it or not, I can at least acknowledge that it's been renewed for 4 seasons. That puts it at 18 seasons, the longest running sitcom in history. I think that means it's beating out Ozzie and Harriet. So that's a fantastic job on them. So I mean, good on them for the longevity of that. Of course, they only do seasons or 5 episodes per season now or something like that. So
the only other thing that's actually kind of interesting looking is that they're making a TV series out of Alien, though. That would be fascinating just because they're taking Alien and they're putting it within a Earth setting, which you saw that in AVP, but who cares? We're talking about that within the actual canon Alien series, and there's a good level of interest there. I think we're in this great renaissance. If I touch on that, and we're going to touch on it also with say Star Wars and Marvel, where you're talking about movies that can make great TV series also, diving into deeper storylines and kind of doing that episodic thing with them. I think that this is actually kind of the future, especially as we're looking into a lot of these being on streaming, where they're gonna run with these movie studio budgets to create these TV shows. This is something that we never dreamed of that TV could do back when we were younger, because TV notoriously always had the smaller budgets that could only accomplish so much. I never thought I'd see lightsaber fights in live action TV ever. And now we're getting that kind of stuff here pretty soon. But an Alien, would you have imagined an Alien TV series back in the day?
No, No, just because of the amount of special effects that would have to go into that. That's not something that would be scalable for television.
Yeah.
And now, like you were saying, we're in the point where like people are taking TV seriously, and like the TV is starting to become as much of an art form as the theatrical motion pictures, and that is fantastic because that means we're going to be inundated with content constantly. It's not going to stop. Alien is a great step forward because I know a couple of things with this. First of all, this is a project that's being headlined by Noah Hawley, who did Legion, Fargo, and what was his movie? He did that movie with Natalie Portman, Lucy in the Sky, which that didn't do too well. But so far, his TV projects have done phenomenal. Legion got a lot of critical acclaim. Fargo is still getting critical acclaim. I tried watching Legion, and the show was just so weird. I couldn't get into it, but I did have to appreciate the fact that Noah Hawley was a huge Pink Floyd fan and therefore named one of his characters Syd Barrett. So absolutely got to love the guy for that. So I'll support him, even though if I can't quite get into the vibe of the show. That, and I'm not a big fan of the Legion character from the X-Men comics anyway. So the best thing I think Legion ever did was create the Age of Apocalypse, but that's a side thing, and that's a topic for another time.
Yep.
The other thing with Alien is that this show is primarily taking place on Earth, that the aliens are finally reaching Earth, and I believe this is going to be like in canon with at least the first two Alien movies. I don't know if it's going to be in canon with Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, and probably definitely not canon with the AVP. But Aliens on Earth is something I've always wanted to see, and I think that's going to be phenomenal for what they could potentially do with it, because they said it's supposed to have the horror of Alien with the action of Aliens.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. That will be one I do watch on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Moving on, as far as FX, were you done with Alien?
I'm done with FX.
Okay. Well, I do want to touch upon there's a show that they're doing about the Rolling Stones. I'm not a huge Rolling Stones fan, but I do appreciate what they mean to the music world. I might be curious in this. Again, might be a show I have to go and I binge later, but kind of curious about this. The Shogun one I've heard is really good. I don't really know anything about it except what was talked about on Pajukin. So,
yep. So before we move on to the next thing, we got a Streamlabs in here from Garth saying, speaking of the National Geographic Channel, I want to plug my friend Sam Sheridan's new show, Atlas of Cursed Places. Sam traveled the world exploring the legends of the Bermuda Triangle, Atlantis, Vlad the Impaler, etc. Watch the trailers and check it out. Yeah. So that's something to keep an eye out for. His friend doing. Yeah, I want to check that out, actually. Yeah. Sounds cool.
Welcome, Rachel.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to the big ones yet.
We're going to hit one of them.
Well, I might skip over that real quick.
I don't want to skip over it because we might not get to it till later, and then we'd have to fast forward through it, and I do actually want to spend some time on this one.
So we might run into the Pajukin problem.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. So, well, actually, let's hit that first big one now. We're talking about Lucasfilm. A couple cool things before we dive into the actual Star Wars. They're revisiting Willow again with Warwick Davis returning in the title role, so that's kind of neat.
Willow, quick fun fact, is the first movie I remember seeing in the theater. Now, don't let that make you think you know how old I am if you don't happen to know how old I am, because it was years, I believe, before I saw a movie there. I don't know if it was Willow or if it was Follow That Bird. I think I've seen both in the theater. I remember Willow distinctly in the theater because I was freaking the F out during that movie. There was just some, like, Mad Mardigan, Val Kilmer as a pig. Yeah, that freaked me out. And then he also cut, like, this troll in half and it split open. You saw its insides. I'm like, nope. was not ready for gore at that time. So
just to put it in perspective, everybody, he is under 40.
Oh, so far.
For a little longer. So the other thing that they're doing is obviously we've been talking about Indiana Jones for a while. They've been talking about doing this 5th Indiana Jones movie, and Harrison Ford is returning to the role with James Mangold directing. I believe that was something we talked about in our first episode of this show on this channel.
Yeah.
So cool to see that's still in the works and still happening. I'm not a huge fan of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, so I don't know how much I am interested in seeing a 5th Indiana Jones movie right now, but James Mangold has me slightly interested. So
James Mangold has a good track record. Now, I'll be honest, both of us are not huge fans of Logan. I think we get Logan, we get why people love it, but I thought it was pretty decent.
Didn't connect with it as much as other people do.
Yeah. Ford versus Ferrari was fantastic, though.
Love Ford versus Ferrari.
That movie was so good. I mean, even so, combine both of those, Logan, Ford versus Ferrari. I can see why James Mangold is doing this.
I think he's got the
kind of here for it.
He's got the right. Stop using that phrase. I'm kind of here for it. He's got the right tone and everything to be able to pull off a 5th Indiana Jones movie. So yeah, definitely interested.
Yeah. This Children of Blood and Bone, I don't know anything about it. It sounds interesting because it's an original piece. Go figure. Out of all of this, it's an original one, except other than being based off a novel.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious as to what it might be. I need to really read and dive more into it, but could be potentially interesting.
But he's here for it.
But I'm here for it.
Yep, but speaking of things that we're here for, Star Wars, that's the stuff that I really want to get into and talk about because...
Are you here for it?
I'm long past here for it. I've been here for it. There's so much stuff coming down the pipe that I'm so interested in. The first things they announced were in the TV side, was the Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka, which are 2 spinoffs off of The Mandalorian, which... our first thoughts obviously is, yes, give me Ahsoka right now. There's a reason why they casted Rosario Dawson in the role. A named individual, somebody that we know of, is playing this character. Of course, she's going to play the character in more than one TV show episode. So I am very much interested in seeing that. I think it's probably going to be a sequel series to Star Wars Rebels, in which case we are seeing her still on the hunt for where did Ezra Bridger go, and that's why she's trying to find Thrawn and all of that. Hopefully Sabine will also be with her in that story as well. So very interested in that because we know that right now with the Ahsoka stuff, what happened with her in Rebels, it dives very deep into really, really deep Force lore, stuff that we have not seen in live action, even in the movies. So it's going to be interesting to see how they portray some of that stuff in live action on a TV show. Got any thoughts on Ahsoka?
I have to catch up on Clone Wars and Rebels.
100%.
By the time. Here's the thing. I watched a little bit of Clone Wars so far. I know who Ahsoka is. I get the appreciation for Ahsoka, and I was right there with pretty much everybody when she popped up on Mandalorian. I was like, yes! She looked phenomenal. She was fantastic. Just, perfect. Chef's kiss. But, I really need to finish watching these shows so I can get the deeper appreciation. I like seeing the fact that we've got a character that we've only seen in animated Star Wars so far in the live action world. And the fact that you got Rosario Dawson to play her is just fantastic. Yeah. Because I know that Rosario Dawson herself has been dying to play Ahsoka since 2017, something like that.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, so huge fan. Getting her to embody that role is great. I've seen content lately now of Ashley Eckstein. I even get pronounce her name properly now. I used to say Ashley Epstein, but I've seen images of her, and I've listened to her like on YouTube and stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see her playing Ahsoka as well because you get that voice also.
Yep.
But I understand. Good Lord, Garth. But like I understand like why they got Rosario to do that, and guess where I'm at?
I don't care. Rangers of the New Republic is
or it. I need
Rangers of the New Republic is going to be a come back. Is going to be a show that I think is going to probably. I think we're thinking this is probably going to be like as of right now, a starring vehicle for Gina Carano and the Cara Dune character. Maybe.
Maybe.
Here's what I'm hoping, actually, is that her character is just a reoccurring character every now and then for that show. She is kind of the driving force to push some other characters into it, but she remains stationed on, say, like Navarro, and that people like Fennec and Boba Fett get roped up into the Rangers. They become Rangers for the New Republic to make amends for their past sins, and we're following them through the show. That I think would be sick, and then maybe we can see some like other bounty hunters and whatnot in the Star Wars universe make a comeback, like Cad Bane, for instance. I would love to see Cad Bane. You still need to watch Clone Wars more. That's kind of what I'm hoping for that show. But as of right now, I know that there's been talks of Gina Carano doing a spinoff for some time, and who knows if that's still going to stay.
By the way, so we're about to hit 1 hour and 7 minutes into this. We're not going to cap off Disney in an hour and a half. This isn't being done in an hour and a half. But moving on anyways, because
especially if you're not going to call it out.
Yeah, just for funsies. I believe that scene from Mandalorian where she's talking to the rebel pilot and he's like, we could really use a person like you. I believe that's where that was supposed to go, but who knows nowadays? As far as I know, I don't want to dive into the controversy of Gina Carano, but I believe she's, from what I've gathered, some people have said that she's a crazy political person, or she has crazy political opinions.
If you want to know, just go on Twitter.
Yeah, or whatever the other like social media is for people who are like I forgot what they called.
I have no idea if she's on that. Just get on Twitter and read her tweets and you'll understand.
Anyways, so I have seen a lot of people saying that they refuse to watch that show if she has anything to do with it. So I don't know where Disney is really going to draw the line on that. They announced the show, but obviously we know this was the show that Gina Carano was supposed to spin off into, but we have not gotten any confirmation from Disney if she's going to have really anything to do with this show.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We shall see. The other Star Wars TV shows coming out they showed a clip on the Investor Day of Andor, so we're kind of seeing the behind the scenes of them setting up the Cassian Andor prequel series, which I believe this one and the Obi-Wan one also, which I do want to talk about that too. I believe are supposed to be like kind of one-off series, only like maybe 8 episodes and they're done, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So basically, just slightly longer movies. These do sound interesting. I love the commitment they're making to some of these because it looks like they're using the volume, the sound stage that they shoot Mandalorian on. They're using that for all of these shows, which I think is the future for a lot of these shows too. And it just looks really interesting. But the biggest thing about Obi-Wan is that we got confirmation that Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader.
Yes.
That's the one that threw me. I was like, yes.
I want to know what he's been up to. I want to know how he's getting used to the Darth Vader costume. And I want to know if he's changed his opinion on sand.
Well, sure. there's that. There's that. And there's thoughts on what we could see in this show. We might get the next duel between Obi-Wan and Vader, which kind of it gives them the interaction that kind of leads to some of the stuff that Obi-Wan was saying within the original trilogy, like the Obi-Wan once thought as you did when he's talking to Luke, but we never got the interaction between Vader and Obi-Wan to lead Vader to saying something like that. So that can be interesting. But what I think a lot of us are really hoping for is maybe some flashbacks to the Clone Wars era, in which case we get to see Hayden Christensen portraying the Anakin that we saw within the Clone Wars TV show, the actual like solid BA, Anakin Skywalker in his prime kind of a situation. And that is the definition of I'm here for it.
By the way, for clarification, BA means bad acting.
No. No, it doesn't.
Anyways, beside the point.
So it's going to be really interesting, especially since that apparently takes place like 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So,
yeah, I like this. Obi-Wan and done. That's good.
Pretty much.
Stellan Skarsgård and Fiona Shaw are in Andor. That's amazing how close those are. Sam messes up his chest panel. Yeah, probably not.
The other thing here is you get the Bad Batch, which is the Clone Wars spinoff, which I'm invested in, interested in. So that looks kind of cool. Star Wars Visions, which we said was kind of like the Animatrix only for Star Wars.
Which, if y'all haven't seen the Animatrix, if you're a fan of the Matrix series at all, especially because we have Matrix 4 coming to you straight on HBO Max or a movie theater, but it's on HBO Max soon. Check out Animatrix because it's really good. And I'm not even like an anime fan. Star Wars Visions looks like it's going to be in the same vein of that, and I'm kind of curious as to how that might go.
Yeah.
So, a droid story, which looks like it's going to be a show from C-3PO and R2-D2's point of view. Okay.
Fun.
I need to see exactly what the idea is on that, but The Acolyte could be interesting because that supposedly is coming at the end of the High Republic era.
So around the time when Yoda was a little bit younger, but still within the the Order of the Jedi, and having a whole show just based around the Jedi is going to be very fascinating, especially during that time period and era. You kind of see the rise of the Sith around there too.
I'm kind of hoping that we see something like with Darth Plagueis and young Palpatine, because I feel like that could be really interesting. The big one from this one, though, that I like, other than the Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, I think were the other two big ones, is the announcement of a Lando show. And I'm hoping this is going to take place within the same timeline as Solo, because easily, Childish Gambino was the best part of that movie.
Donald Glover was like the best part of the Solo movies because he did a fantastic job playing Billy D. Williams as Lando, and I definitely want to see more of that. So I mean, who knows? Because they didn't confirm that he's back as Lando. They didn't confirm that Billy D is
no.
Yeah, they didn't confirm that Billy D is a part of it, so we don't know if one or both may be coming back in some capacity. So that could be very, very interesting. Which I think is our choice word for a lot of the stuff. Is that looks interesting? So
Lando and Abed in the morning.
The last things to touch on in terms of Star Wars is that we saw that they confirmed Taika Waititi is working on some Star Wars movie project. They showed just like kind of like an image, wasn't like an actual image, but it was more like production art for it in the background, in which case you saw this like weird triangular diamond shaped vessel or something of some sort flying in space, which a lot of us are thinking that might be related to, say, Mortis, which again, if you watch Clone Wars, you'll know that whole arc within Clone Wars of the father, the daughter, and the son, and all that, which is again deep Force lore. So if that's what that is actually representing, and they're doing that for a movie, it's going to be asking a lot for the Star Wars audiences out there to kind of dive into. But I'm interested in it because Taika Waititi. That's it, Taika Waititi.
The other thing in that though that they did show, and let me see if I can do this because I don't ever typically do this, but dang it, stop it. Where is it?
They kind of showed the logo. Yeah, we don't have time. Got to move on. They showed the logo.
No. Yeah, that's
they showed the logo for it, which kind of looked like very. There's like a very like 80s Star Wars kind of comic run vibe to it.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting. So, anyways,
there's that, and then they made the announcement that Patty Jenkins is doing a Rogue Squadron movie, which she had that whole trailer kind of telling her story and telling her connection with her father flying planes and whatnot. And it sounds like we're getting essentially a Top Gun in space kind of a story with the squadron there, and that's got a lot of people excited. That's got me excited because that's kind of a side of Star Wars that we really haven't dived into. I mean, you always saw a piece of it within the actual movies, but you didn't like dive into the stories of the actual other pilots and kind of and how they rose up the ranks and everything. So that's going to be kind of a really interesting. It sounds like it's going to be a lot more of a personal story too, which again, we're here for.
Moving on to Walt Disney Studios motion pictures. So we're going to kind of breeze through some of this one. Yes, they're making a Hocus Pocus 2 because fans love Hocus Pocus. It's a cult film. 3 Men and a Baby. That might be interesting. Kind of see what they do. Cheaper by the dozen. I like this in so much that they're diversifying the cast. Kind of curious as to what they may actually do with that. So,
yeah.
The big one I want to get to though is Sister Act 3. I love the Sister Act series. Both of the original two are fantastic. I love them. I am ready for Sister Act 3 because it makes me want to shout. I'm not going to sing. Sister Act. It's becoming a habit. Absolutely. I love that. I love the Sister Act movies. They've done very well. I'm eager to see Whoopi Goldberg back as Sister Mary Clarence, Dolores Van Cartier. I'm curious as to what they could do with it. There goes my life. I stopped singing, Garth. It's okay. Chris, go back to your computer. Eager for Sister Act 3. That I'm just saying. I want to see it. I'm eager for it. I don't know what else they could do. I made the joke over on Pajukin that this is going to be like the new coming of age for Kathy Najimy, who was in both the first two Sister Act movies and the original Hocus Pocus. And she's probably going to be back in both of these movies again. So eager to see that. Disney Plus projects revealed. Okay, so they're doing so it's a film. I guess I originally read it as a TV show, but a film of Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. This is one thing I like about what Disney Plus is doing, that you could take these Disney properties where, like, say, for example, Aladdin. The Aladdin movie came out in 92. And it was so well received that they made 2 direct-to-video movies, but then they also made a cartoon TV show about it. When something like that was popular, it would primarily be spun off into a TV show, but it would go at that time during the 90s, it would be spun off into what was called the Disney Afternoon. In which case, it wasn't given like a high end of quality to it. I think that like one of the major ones, like some of the major ones you did have, obviously like DuckTales. DuckTales was the anchor of the Disney Afternoon. Anyone watched DuckTales and loved them. But your other ones that you had were Chippendale's Rescue Rangers and Tailspin and Darkwing Duck. Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, I really, really liked. And I like this idea of a hybrid live action movie, especially because you've got like John Mulaney, Andy Samberg, and apparently Seth Rogen is going to have some kind of a cameo in it. I originally thought he's going to be like Monterey Jack, if y'all are familiar with the cartoon at all. But it sounds like his role is more of just a cameo, so probably not Monterey Jack. Anyways, as long as they keep the theme song, I am A-okay with this project.
Yeah. It'd be a fun one with John Mulaney and Andy Samberg.
Yeah. Pinocchio. I loved the Pinocchio cartoon as a kid. It was on the same VHS tape that we had Mary Poppins recorded. So I would usually spend every weekend watching Pinocchio and Mary Poppins. So I'm eager to see this. I know we've gotten a couple of like Pinocchio adaptations. Some of them good and some of them really not that good. Like all of life is not that beautiful, just saying. But this one I have, like, it's directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Tom Hanks, who I'm going to guess is playing Geppetto, which is weird because Geppetto really didn't have a huge role in the cartoon. He was there at the beginning and periodically throughout the movie and then a little bit at the end, and that was it. So kind of curious as to how they expand his role, because you know Tom Hanks has to be the focal point of that movie.
Yeah.
Other than Pinocchio.
So you got Peter Pan and Wendy there.
It's another Peter Pan movie.
Yep.
I like the idea of Jude Law as Captain Hook. That sounds like really good casting. But otherwise, like, I'm really burnt out on Peter Pan movies.
I will time y'all out in the chat. I will literally time you out. I don't even care.
I'll do it. I'll do it on Twitter. How about that? If I post it on Twitter, would y'all like that?
Much better.
Because you know I could sing that that whole theme. And then Disenchanted. I know Enchanted was one of those movies, I think, like, everyone and their mom were saying, we need a sequel to this movie. This was one of the movies, like, always came up whenever people were saying we need a sequel to it. And they finally announced it. I'm not a huge fan of Enchanted, but it was a cute movie. I've seen it a couple of times. It was cute. Okay.
It stars our sister. I'm in for it.
Yeah. Anything to help our sister out, though.
I'm both into it and here for it. I'm in for it. There's a new one, guys. We're saying in for it now. The rest of this stuff, I can take or leave most of this. Obviously, you know, we already knew we were getting The Little Mermaid. I didn't know that The Lion King was going to be a prequel. Yeah, that's kind of. I thought it was going to be a sequel to the live action Lion King. I'd say that loosely. So that's interesting. Barry Jenkins coming in for that one, so that'll be cool. Yep. Rest of the stuff is there. There's the big one is Raya and the Last Dragon is going to be doing the Disney Plus Premiere Access. It's going to be the next movie to do that Premiere Access in March, and I believe it's also going to be doing the movie theater release as well. Sorry, I'm feeling rough right now, actually. Anyway, so that's going to be both.
I have to Twitter on Twitter first. True. I'm getting better, I would say. Anyways, yeah, some of that, an animated night at the museum sounds weird, but okay. Animated Diary of a Wimpy Kid, wasn't that familiar. Here's the thing I like about this Ice Age one is this is probably one of the first ones, I believe, that was a Fox Movies property that is being immediately absorbed into Disney and turn around and a movie's being cranked out. Yeah. So that's like the first sign of that. This Greek Freak about NBA, I don't know anything about that. Rain and the Last Dragon, I don't know anything about that as well. Along with some of these other ones, this Encanto. Sounds
it's got
like
Lin-Manuel Miranda on it.
Yeah, that's why it sounds like it's going to be good because it's got Lin-Manuel Miranda. So, I mean, winner right there, right off the bat. I know they released. I think they just released a trailer like a day ago or something like that, or some kind of footage about it. I need to go back and watch it. I just haven't had the time yet, but that's something I would want to check out. These other ones that they're talking about, I guess these are all TV shows that they're doing, like TV show spinoffs. Zootopia Plus, Tiana, Moana, and Baymax. Could be interesting. Some of those I feel like I connected with more than others. Like I wasn't a big Moana fan. The music was cool. Again, Lin-Manuel Miranda, but
this is again where we differ because I am absolutely very interested in a Moana show because I loved Moana. I thought it was a great movie.
But I'm into a Baymax show because I liked Big Hero 6, and Baymax was a great character.
Yep.
Trying to do the let's move on to Pixar. You got anything else real quick before we move on to Pixar?
Nope. So the first thing is that Pixar is doing a TV show called Win or Lose, which is the first ever long-form series that Pixar has ever done. Wow, and it's debuting in February 2023. They announced that one way far in advance, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's following a middle school softball team in the week leading up to their championship game, and each episode is told from the perspective of a different character. That's kind of cool. So you're getting like different episodes told from different perspectives. So that's a again, like Pixar is filled with original ideas and really cool original ideas. So there you have one for the TV side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then they announced they announced a few movies here. We've got Luca that's coming in theaters for next summer. So you got Turning Red, which is an interesting one. It's kind of this girl turns into like a giant red panda.
It's basically the Hulk with a girl turning into a red panda instead of Hulk.
Yeah. And then the big one for me would be Lightyear, which you have. The story is essentially the character of Buzz Lightyear that the toy of Buzz Lightyear was based off of. So you have an actual, like, quote unquote, real Buzz Lightyear. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a real guy or if it's supposed to be just like a TV show character that the toy was based off of.
So the way it was worded is that the toy of Buzz Lightyear was based off of a movie within the Toy Story universe.
Yeah.
This is that movie.
So we have like a Fantastic Beast kind of thing.
We're ignoring the fact that the Toy Story universe exists, and we're seeing just that movie that played for like Andy and his mom and Bonnie's parents and whatnot. They have, for all intents and purposes, they have already seen this movie because Buzz Lightyear is already a thing in that universe. Now we get to see that movie as well. So I don't expect like any real connection to Toy Story at all in this movie. As far as I know, this is a real movie about this space ranger Buzz Lightyear of Space Command. Star Command. It's been a while.
This
going to infinity and beyond.
This to me looks like if you go back and watch Toy Story 2, Woody was based off the character of Woody the Sheriff from Woody's Roundup. And so they already explored the idea that these toys come from TV shows and movies before, which is kind of fascinating. The interesting thing is that Chris Evans is going to be doing his voice, and they're not bringing in Tim Allen for this because it's still not really based off of the Buzz Lightyear toy. So they can move on with a different voice actor. So that'll be an interesting one to see. I know they're also doing a bunch of like shorts and stuff. They kind of showed off some of them. They're doing a Cars one, the Doug Days, based off of the dog Doug from the Up movie. So that'll be adorable. I think we've actually gotten to our last one, which is going to be the MCU, Marvel.
Well, if you like to vamp for just a minute, interact with the chat. Chat, what do y'all think of all this so far? Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
Why is my logo when I'm not here? Why is it a picture of you?
I have mine set for me. I guess you don't have one set. Interesting.
But why is it automatically default to you? Not say this is an awesome picture of you. I get it, but
it's because I created the stream. Go do your thing.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of just like really good stuff that's coming out of this. So much stuff that I'm just like super interested in seeing and checking out. I don't know how much of it I will probably be watching in the long run. But definitely a lot of stuff for a nice variety of people. But what are you guys thinking? Let me know in the chat. What are you guys thinking about a lot of this stuff right now? Because I know that, there's a lot of the stuff is aimed, of course, for kids still, but there's definitely still a lot of things. You're talking about Marvel, you're talking about Star Wars that have just a wide range of audience. Because so much of us have watched, a lot of these movies and a lot of the stuff that came before. We read comic books and all that. So there's a lot of connection for a lot of this stuff for us. So what do you guys think? What are you most excited for?
There's a huge nostalgia factor in this too.
Yeah, see, Garth is excited for Star Wars and Marvel stuff, of course. Like those are kind of like the two big things that everybody was on about when all these announcements were made.
But I mean, like the nostalgia stuff of it, you're hitting Mighty Ducks, Sister Act 3, Chippendales Rescue. I mean, you're speaking directly to my soul with these.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, and we kind of glossed over this one. We yada-yada'd over it real quick, but like Swiss Family Robinson was about a family that kind of like Gilligan's Island its way onto an island, and they created like their entire house like up in the trees and stuff. It's kind of cool looking. The original movie was kind of intriguing. They did at least at Disney World, I know there was a part where you could go like walk through the Swiss Family Robinson's treehouse, and we did that. And it was a long walk up in the trees, and I'm scared of heights, and I just wanted to get out of there and go on the stupid Jungle Cruise, which there's a movie of that finally coming out eventually as well.
Which we all forgot about. That was supposed to come out this year, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to get into this MCU stuff, and I don't want to like rush through it, but I kind of want to, move at a decent pace through a lot of this stuff.
Well, a lot of this they had already talked about. So I mean, some of this we can kind of gloss over like a little bit of it. Blade, they didn't say anything new about Blade. Doctor Strange, we already knew that was directly connected to WandaVision. I think
got confirmation that Spider-Man was also connected too.
Yeah. No new information really about Eternals other than it's being pushed to November. Loki, we got a trailer of. Hawkeye, we got the even though we've seen the pictures, we got the official confirmation of Haley Steinfeld as man, I'm trying to rush through it and I'm dropping names. Kate Bishop, not Hawkeye's daughter, totally different person. We got nothing from Shang-Chi. Not really anything from Thor.
Really for a lot of these, they just announced like their release dates and everything. Confirmed some stuff. Like with Thor, they've got Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah, they did that one.
Yeah, but he's a very Voldemort looking kind of guy, so it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. But real quick, a lot of these trailers, like say like the WandaVision and the Loki trailer, didn't really give across exactly what the stories are about. I mean, so many WandaVision trailers have come through, and I still have no clue what that show's about, but it looks absolutely fascinating. And I'm kind of interested to see what they're doing with it that connects with and changes the scope of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in and of itself anyway. And then the Loki one just looks like it's all over the place.
WandaVision, we know, is going to involve some kind of alternate reality. And I said it on Pajukin, I'm willing to bet that it's going to involve Agatha Harkness, which those of y'all familiar with the comics, she's a witch that kind of helps train Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, to use her powers. I kind of believe, and nothing has been confirmed, I think it's still a rumor, but I kind of believe that Agatha Harkness is actually their neighbor, Catherine Hahn, in this show. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to with that. Loki, we got the first trailer for that, and that he's working. He basically has been captured by the, was it Time Variance Authority? Basically, time cops minus Jean-Claude Van Damme. And this could be really interesting. I kind of like the idea of this, especially because you have Owen Wilson in there. And let's all, since I mentioned, I've invoked the name of Owen Wilson, let's all do everything that we're thinking in 3, 2, 1. Wow. Yeah, okay. Not really on time, but whatever.
For me.
Think of that Loki trailer.
Yeah, Loki looks interesting. It looks like they're kind of taking this and some of these mysterious figures amongst history that we've only heard of, but we don't really know the identities of. It looks like they're actually kind of placing them as Loki was those individuals and characters. You saw, I can't remember his name, but the guy who jumped out of the plane and ran away with like a ton of money. Yeah. You saw him get away, and yeah, that's it. That I think is interesting. Where it's like we don't know anything about this guy. He was able to like get away clean or whatever, and it's like, oh well, it's because it was Loki. That's why we don't know anything about him. So that kind of stuff is kind of interesting to me. I want to see, because I hear there's like bigger connections also with this. I want to say that somebody saw Kang the Conqueror, who, if you know that character, he deals with time, and he's also apparently going to be in the third Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, Quantumania. So it looks like he's also connected to the Loki series in some way. So that's going to be really fascinating if they actually are putting the time and dedication into that character. There could be a lot of really cool stuff that come out of that. I know we did like a whole tagline episode with him as kind of like part of the main topic of that show. So go check that one out if you haven't seen it yet.
They did kind of like yada their way through the fact that Kang could potentially be the next like Thanos with the character.
The character within the comics has the propensity to be that kind of a big character. They didn't really highlight or talk about that at all because I just don't think they're ready to talk about that kind of stuff yet. But I would love to see them kind of, again, take that character that seriously. So Falcon and Winter Soldier looks really good. Looks like a spy thriller type of TV show. I really like the weight that Sam, the Falcon, has on being able to take up the shield and carry it, and he kind of doesn't feel worthy of it, so to speak. So that's kind of cool.
I like Zemo. Baron Zemo is back in that.
Baron Zemo looks good
because I love Daniel Bruhl. Ever since Inglourious Bastards, I've loved him in like everything I've seen him in.
And then you've got the What If series. I'm very interested in this because they're bringing the actual like MCU actors back to do the voices of characters in like alternate realities, and we're being guided through these alternate realities by Uatu the Watcher, who's finally able to make an MCU appearance, and being voiced by Jeffrey Wright. Yeah. That I think is a fantastic casting decision for him there. So that's gonna be a really fun one, especially because it's also the I think the last time we ever will get to hear or see Chadwick Boseman portraying T'Challa within that show. Yeah.
So I'm doing like what Garth was saying, that just Google Kang and Loki and you'll see images, and I'm seeing like a lot of it. It looks like they're referring to Richard E. Grant is playing Kang in the Loki TV show.
Interesting.
I mean, here's the thing. Kang the Conqueror has had multiple appearances. He is definitely a shapeshifter. Um,
Yeah.
I think I definitely think it's possible, but
Yeah, I'll have to see because that sounds
we have to
kind
wait
of
for confirmation.
yeah. They were talking about and announcing the She-Hulk and Moon Knight shows. Didn't talk about the cast in Moon Knight, but for She-Hulk, they confirmed that Tatiana Maslany is going to be portraying She-Hulk, which will be cool, and that they're also bringing back Tim Roth's Abomination and bringing Mark Ruffalo's Hulk into it, Bruce Banner, which makes sense because she is Bruce Banner's cousin, I believe. So, so of course it's going to be there. And then Kevin Feige,
she becomes She-Hulk because of a blood transfusion from Bruce Banner.
yeah. And then the fun thing is that Kevin Feige was talking about because she represents superheroes in the courtroom as she's a lawyer, that you never know who you're going to see, what other characters you might see pop up in the show, which, you know, a lot of us could take that at face value and say there's going to be like a lot of cool like superheroes that we know about will pop up in the show at some point. But then there's also the one that everybody is hoping makes a comeback into the MCU, and that would be Matt Murdock.
Come on, Daredevil. Yeah, that doesn't.
Yeah, so Garth is going to dislike the video. Matt Murdock's Daredevil is coming back into it, and right. And if that happens, I hope that Vincent D'Onofrio reprises the role of Kingpin at some point within something, somewhere.
Yes, please.
And then they talked about some Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. They got a holiday special, which they're filming at the same time as they're shooting the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and so that'll be cute. And then it looks like I Am Groot. It's a series of original shorts for I Am Groot, so a bunch of little short shorts for little baby Groot, it's probably going to be aimed more for our younger audience, but
we're going to watch it anyways.
Might check it out. It'll be fun. I do like, again, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Sounds intriguing.
So they recasted Cassie Lang for this one. They went with Catherine Newton, which is telling me, and that's what it told me on Thursday when I first heard it, and it's been confirmed since then, that Marvel is going the route of really bringing Cassie Lang in to play Stature. So therefore they wanted to go with an actress who has more of a resume under her. She has more experience on being able to take a lead like that, in which Catherine Newton has been doing a fantastic job with Detective Pikachu and Freaky, that she's potentially capable of being able to hold on to a role like this and doing very well with it. So
yeah, I think what's fascinating about that is we don't have like an actual, I believe, release date for that third Ant-Man yet. And so
no, they did. They gave the release year.
Was it 2023 or 2022?
I think it's 2022.
Okay, so that's what is kind of interesting to me, is because if you go back to Endgame is supposed to take place, I believe, in 2023. It was 5 years later from I believe Infinity War. So that should be around that time.
We're basically playing catch up in the MCU, and now that the MCU is being delayed, we're playing even more catch up.
So that's what's fascinating to me, is that they could have portrayed Cassie Lang as still just a little bit older than she was within Endgame when she made her appearance in Avengers Endgame. So that could be the explanation for recasting too. So we'll see.
Some of this we don't know anything about. Armor Wars, we know it's going to involve, like, I guess, people taking the Iron Man armor. It stars Don Cheadle as Rhodey, again, War Machine. This was based off of a storyline in the comics, but in that storyline, Tony Stark was very much alive. So kind of curious as to where that one might go, especially because Robert Downey Jr. has said that he's pretty much done with anything he needs to do as Tony Stark Iron Man. And then you have that Ironheart, which, based off the comics, again, this is about Riri Williams taking up the Iron Man mantle. Now here's the thing: like, unfortunately, I've had to stop reading comics over the past couple of years or so. So I don't know too much about her, but I've seen the images of Riri, and the actress that they have playing her, Dominique Thorne, looks exactly like her. From the images I've seen, she looks perfect. And I am right in my room talking about it because I'm here for it. Anyways.
It's interesting, like they were going to do that because somebody needed to take up the Iron Man side. They want to keep Iron Man as a character, and so they're just like, how do you do that without like saying Tony Stark is back and now he looks different? Why does he look like Tom Cruise all of a sudden? I don't know. So they were going to introduce a new character who could have their own suit of armor too. So might as well do that with a character that exists within the actual comic book universe. So that'll be cool to see. Again, a lot of the movies we already talked about. Black Widow is still supposed to come out. Shang-Chi got bumped up and is going to be coming out before Eternals now. You still got Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder. Interesting one was Black Panther 2. They confirmed that they do not want to recast T'Challa. They don't want to put a new person in the role of T'Challa. And they were saying that's out of respect to Chadwick Boseman, which I think is it's a nice announcement to be able to make right now. Some time has passed now, so we can now start looking at, okay, what is Black Panther 2 going to be about? We know that Ryan Coogler's already hard at work writing it. And so I think a lot of us expect that maybe Shuri is going to be taking up the role of Black Panther within that movie.
Well, maybe.
No, I think she still is. I think she still could, despite a lot of people say controversial stuff on Twitter all the time and everything's fine. So
I have yet to say anything controversial on Twitter, unless you really don't think Rent is a Christmas movie. Then that was controversy abound.
So that's something I still think we could see happen is Shuri's taking up the role, because again, Shuri has been Black Panther within the comics as well. Or maybe they have Winston Duke do it, or maybe they bring Michael B. Jordan from an alternate dimension, since we're doing dimension stuff now. Maybe he comes in and takes up the role. We'll see. But it's interesting stuff there too. Then you got Captain Marvel too, which we saw. Is it Monica Rambeau? Is that the daughter? Yeah.
Yes. The mom was Maria.
Maria, yeah, okay. So Monica Rambeau, we're seeing her make her first appearance within WandaVision, and she's going to be coming back. She's playing. We got Monica Rambeau is older now because some time has passed since she was a youngin back in the earlier days of the first Captain Marvel movie. But what's really interesting is I've also got Kamala Khan is going to be in this, also bouncing in from her own show, Miss Marvel. That one's really cool because I love the casting process they went through to actually cast Kamala Khan in for that show. They kind of found somebody who's just now making their start, and just seeing the video of her just being so excited when they told her that, yep, you've been casted, and they've got Kevin Feige's there and like all these other people, all these producers, everything. She's like, I'm freaking out. That's so cool. I'm really interested in seeing that show, and then her coming into Captain Marvel too, because Captain Marvel is that character's like hero. So,
which you think she would have just been freaked out just by being on a Zoom call with all those people to begin with, whether she got the part or not. They're like, oh my God, there's all these like MCU people whose names I've seen pop up in credits and stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah.
The other one I want to touch upon before we get to like the big one, they talked about a Secret Invasion TV show. This is something they've been leading up to with like the Skrulls in Captain Marvel. When they first showed the Skrulls, we're all thinking, oh, they're going to do Secret Invasion next as the big storyline after the Infinity Gauntlet. And they're going the TV show route with it, which is telling me this isn't as big of a TV show as we are, or a storyline as we originally thought the MCU was going to be hinging upon. So we're going into the role. Secret Invasion is about like all the superheroes. Everyone has quietly been replaced by Skrulls, and they're trying to conquer Earth. Kind of an interesting setup. We've already seen this in like what looks like Nick Fury working with the Skrulls, trying to set up SWORD in outer space. Like a lot of the movies have already like planted the seeds of like where this is potentially going. So curious as to what they could do with that.
Especially with Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn coming back in there as well. So I don't know.
This whole time has been a Skrull that we didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be really cool because I think for sure they're definitely tackling that storyline from a different perspective. We might just see like Skrulls in the day-to-day life kind of a thing, and they've got to bring them into the fold or what have you. I don't know what it's going to look like or what it's really going to be about. I don't think we see Skrulls posing as Captain America or Iron Man. Obviously, I don't think we are diving that deep into it, but kind of curious, really curious. And Garth is right. I am definitely a Skrull, and this human form is not working for me anymore.
Yeah. But on to the big one.
The big one.
So they've already announced. Kevin Feige already announced before that the Marvel Studios is looking at ways of bringing in the Fox-owned properties, namely X-Men and Fantastic Four. We got the full-on confirmation that Fantastic Four is the one of those two that they're primarily focusing on, in so much that they also went ahead and they got John Watts to come in as director for it.
I'm interested in that. That's a good choice. That's a good choice based on what he's done so far with the Spider-Man movies.
That is a fantastic choice because Fantastic Four does not have a good track record.
Fan Four stick.
Yeah. I believe, like, here's the thing. Like, going back and watching the Roger Corman 94 one, it actually is better than Fan Four stick, I would say. But still not that good. And then, of course, you got the two Tim Story Fantastic Four movies, which the first one, okay, it was a fun movie, but
Good attempt.
It was a nice attempt. There's definitely some stuff that could have been improved upon. Namely, what's his face's voice as Doctor Doom was not good, and I can't believe Yeah, like Julian McMahon. I can't believe I forget his name because I was a huge Nip Tuck fan when that was out in the 2000s. But yeah, his voice just doesn't. He was fine as Victor Von Doom with the mask on. Terrible voice behind that mask.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff in the Fantastic Four that needs redeeming badly, and in Feige we trust. I believe that this is going to be the awesome Fantastic Four movie we've all expected it to be.
Yeah.
But we're allowed to reserve judgment until we actually see the movie, and we're like, Yeah. I mean, Thor: The Dark World could be beaten. I'm just saying.
I'm just ready for a Doctor Doom done right. And I believe, within the MCU, within Marvel Studios, they will finally get Doctor Doom correct. So,
yeah.
He's a villain. Again, he could be a Thanos-level villain himself as well. So I am eager to see Doctor Doom finally be the imposing villain that he should have been in these other movies and wasn't.
Yeah.
Plus, who knows? Silver Surfer and Galactus could be around the corner as well.
Oh, and I'm eager for that. Silver Surfer was one of my favorite comic book characters growing up. So
I like my Galactuses as not clouds.
Absolutely. So that's it. That's our Disney run through.
Oh, we did it.
We didn't run through as fast as I was hoping we'd run through, but I mean, let's not kid ourselves. That was a lot of stuff. And we've had like almost an entire week to think about it. So Yeah, that's gonna do it for movie news. Let's wrap this thing up. Any of y'all in the chat, y'all have any other comments and stuff y'all want to say? Let's get them out there as we wrap this up. Going back real quick while we wait for that. Again, this past weekend was the Schmodown Spectacular, and the free agency is now open. So I encourage you, if you are fans of us, if you would like to see me and my brother's continued presence in the Schmodown itself, please make sure you are tweeting out that hashtag DraftCineFanatics. On top of that, if I am asking you, please, if you can, grab a quick video of yourself. I don't need anything else except just y'all saying, do it on your phone. You can do it in profile for all I care. That's fine. Just a quick Draft Cinefanatics. That's all I need. If y'all can post that up to Twitter, put it on the social medias. I need videos of people supporting us. So throw that out there. That would be fantastic. I'm working on a project right now, and those might be very useful for that project. You will find out more about this later. So yes, thank you for your continued support of us on the Draft Cinefanatics. Anyways, we hope some big things are going to be coming, and we've got a lot more to come as well.
Yep. In the meantime, if you guys, again, aren't already on our Patreon, you're going to want to head over there and at least get on that $1 tier, because that's going to give you access to our Discord. We just started it. We're just kind of getting the feels because we don't have too much Discord experience. We've been connected with some Discords, but haven't had too much interaction on them. We are really wanting to create an actual good community over there of people who just love movies, want to talk about movies, all sorts of stuff. If you hop on that Discord, you'll see some other stuff that we might be working on that I specifically am trying to work on and build up towards the future. So we will see. Just hop on that Discord, hop in the Patreon on that $1 tier at least, and you'll get access to that. And hopefully we can build this awesome, great community with all of you guys and do some really cool stuff over there as well.
Speaking of Patreon, we do have a movie watch along that is coming up pretty soon. I don't know what is today's Tuesday. I don't know if we might try to knock out a Christmas movie maybe this weekend if we can. I'm not sure what it is, but those of y'all that are Patreon members, as long as you're on the $5 tier on up, you can join us for that watch along. Is there a Christmas movie you want to see us watch? Drop it into the Discord. Go put it in the Sweet Sweet Hangs channel on the Discord. Let's talk about it real quick. Let's see if we can nail something down for this weekend. If y'all are available, there's a movie y'all want to watch with us, let's put it out there. What movie do you want to see? Anything Christmas related, I'm game for. Even if you want to watch Die Hard, even though it's absolutely not Christmas related, let's watch it.
Yes. No, it is Christmas related, at least. Caveat is this movie needs to be streaming somewhere, which I believe Die Hard is on HBO Max right now. So that is one thing, is we want to do it streaming so we don't have you guys spending any money in terms of renting or purchasing a movie just to watch it with us. We do it on streaming services that we hope that you might already be subscribed to. So that's the caveat there. So hopefully, as long as I'm feeling good, I can sit here with a movie with you guys. But we'll see how this week and this medication that I got is gonna treat me throughout this week. Because, woo, buddy, let me tell you, it's difficult to sit here. So, anyway,
yeah. Anyways, hop on that Patreon. There's the Discord. We're growing stuff here. I'm not ready to make announcements yet, but I will give a teaser that we are in talks of adding content to this channel. You've heard us talk about that before. I do have one plan in mind of some content that I think is probably going to be our version of like Cinema Sins, Honest Trailers, Pitch Meeting. It's going to be like probably one of the main focal points of humorous movie related content for this channel, and I am eager to start working on it. And there's a couple other things that we're working on that we'll probably officially announce as we get closer to the new year, and as we actually figure out like the viable schedule for putting this together, since I work a 40-hour week already at my job, and then you've got him whenever he's available to do content as well. I want to grow this channel so bad, so I'm looking at more and more content as we go. Yes, it sounds super easy, barely an inconvenience. Garth, I'm going to need you to get all the way off our backs about this, because like coming up with new content sounds tight, but
he said the thing.
He did say the thing.
Wow.
Anyways, we got new content coming, and I think the only other thing that we don't typically ask for on this, and I need to get in the habit of starting to ask for it in actuality, share this content. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell people about content that is available out there. Share this. It would mean the world to us if we could build this channel and this community, like my brother was saying. Just help us out. New content is tight. Yes, it is. I can't click on it yet, but I see it. Anyways, as for Patreon, I will... Something else we need to get used to is thanking our current patrons. Jake Iacovetta, Joe Elliott, Errolowl, Rachel, Vernon Greene, Garth McMurray, Davlen, Tyler Schwent, and Hamstrakt. Thank you for being patrons. Please hop on our Patreon. Even if you're at $1, you get access to the Discord. You know that thing is going to grow. You know this is going to be a huge community eventually anyways. I know like we've got like less than 10 people here while this tagline is live. I don't care. It's going to grow. It will be huge. Be a part of it. Hop on the $1 tier if that's all you can do. Cool. Awesome. $1, that's great. But let's see y'all hop on the Patreon. Let's build this community, because 2021 is going to be phenomenal for us.
Woo.
Screw the pandemic. We're pushing on.
It's gonna be a lot of stuff to talk about in 2021.
Oh yeah,
a lot of stuff. Anyway, we got anything else? We're gonna wrap it up here.
Schmodown Replay is on hiatus right now because the Schmodown is on hiatus. We are going to be talking things over as to what exactly is going to be happening with the replay as we go into the new season, which I believe is going to start in February. So unfortunately, you're not going to be singing. I just looked at Errolowl's comment that said I'm going to be singing over on the Discord, and instead of saying seeing, I said singing. Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Rachel. You're not gonna be seeing Schmodown Replay at least until February, but there's also some other factors that might play into our decisions here. So again, stay tuned for what I'm working on right now. But yeah,
I know for like the off-season stuff, we're probably going to be making appearances over on like Certain Point of View and other kinds of things. That kind of stuff during the off season to talk about all the off season stuff. We're probably not going to be doing it on our own show on this channel. So we want to again, it's all about community, guys. So we go hang out with other communities to talk about this stuff as well, and that's going to happen too. So
we'll see. Yep. Anyways, that is it for tonight. I don't see any other StreamYards or Super Chats or Streamlabs and Super Chats, so let's go ahead and end this for tonight. Y'all know how to follow us, Cinefanatics MLP on Twitter and Instagram. You do also have Robert Adams MLP, Twitter and Instagram, Chris Adams MLP on Twitter and Instagram, and that's where you can follow us. That's going to be it for tonight, y'all. So
sounds good.
Thank y'all for watching. Let's end this. Let's wrap this up. Y'all all have a great evening. Have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, depending on what you celebrate. And we will see y'all next week. Later.
See ya.